To illustrate our point, let's build a contrast between a yeshiva and an idealized school, one that has all the factors in place to help their students learn best. After a successful day in class, we like to pat ourselves on the back and say that the class succeeded because of the teacher. If we're a little more honest, then we say, well, it was a good course. However, there are really some other factors that play into the success of every student. There is the external motivation that the student has, the environment that the student is in, and the consequences if the student does not comply. Let's explore these last three factors and what makes them happen. Our dream school has a very simple agenda: educate their students and prepare them for university. If we are dealing with a public school, they receive ample funding from the federal government, from the city, the township, or whichever. If they're a private school, they can charge ample tuition to those parents who choose to send their kids to that school. At any rate, they can receive generous grants from foundations who have particular educational goals in mind. Our typical student wants to do well academically for many reasons. First, the whole reason why he or she is in school is to accomplish these studies. That's the mission of the school. Doing well gives a feeling of accomplishment, and getting into these studies gives a feeling of intellectual stimulation. Right after high school, or shortly afterwards, they're going to college, and they know that to do well, they'll need the background of a good high school education. They certainly want their diploma, and their fans and family are impressed if they do well academically. The environment these students find themselves in is geared to make their learning successful. The classes are generally filtered by ability. Students do not have to wait for students who are behind them, or struggle to catch up with students who are far more advanced than they. The day is short, and is in the prime hours of the day where their learning abilities are the strongest. Classes are also rotated so that the hardest periods are not always had by the same class. The facilities are made to be learning friendly. There's ample equipment. In the background, there's a full administrative staff reinforcing everything that the school needs. When the students get restless, there are recreational facilities and organized sports, so students come back to class ready to learn. Out of school, there's spare time for study and for projects. They can use the internet to research what is done in class. They share a lot of similarities to the teacher. They come from similar backgrounds and are able to relate. In addition, the teacher is more educated than they are, and they look up to the teacher as a source of knowledge. Let's say a student doesn't want to toe the line. Well, there are consequences. A school can have strict standards, and if you don't comply, maybe you don't belong there. Either you don't belong in that class and can get shifted to a lower class, or one for behaviorally challenged kids. You can be shifted to another school in the school system, or if it's a private school, just a public school. And within the class structure, you can be given extra work, you can be held after school, and there is time for both after the short school day. It should also be noted that in your average school, the key staff, the ones in charge of the school administration and relating to the parents, are the ones who are on hand watching the scene unfold. They can therefore speak of first hand to what consequences need to be given out.